Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 6, reading Joshua for Lent, 3 chapters a day, Monday through Thursday, for 2 weeks, or 8 sessions. Today we read chapters 16 through 18. And it's a continuation of some of the themes of chapters 13 through 15 yesterday. Therein, there is the allocation of land. And to us reading it, it might be somewhat mundane, and it might be less engaging, and that's certainly understandable. But I believe that, in a world of what was said of oral tradition, oral culture, where so much tradition and history was repeated through the telling of stories. This is one of the things that they found pertinent to write down and record, and a lot of it goes into their story. So this becomes, in a sense, something akin to a legal document. The land, as I remarked yesterday, serves a great deal of importance in a world where they didn't have any real possessions to inherit, no real liquid assets, no cash assets really to pass down to posterity, in a world where they lived a short, what we consider to be a condensed lifespan. The lifeblood of a community, of a family, the continuation of self was done by way of land, and this land was considered their covenant inheritance from God. And so naturally, the way that the Hebrew books, especially these early books, Genesis through Joshua, they allocate many things within appropriate space and categories, and land is one of those vital elements that receives a certain allocation here to each of these tribes. But we see in chapter 16 as well as 17 that there are some issues brewing. It's remarked that some of the Canaanites remain in the land, that those of the tribe of Israel who are now taking possession of the land, they're either unwilling or unable to take the land fully. There's still the remnant of Canaanites, although they put the Canaanites to work. That nevertheless, it becomes a significant part of the Hebrew story going forward. There remains the Canaanite presence. And so there are those who are embedded within the land already, and this new group trying to embed themselves into the land. And there's going to be this friction sometimes between what we would identify now as clans. Sometimes it manifests itself through armed conflict throughout the Old Testament. Israel with its immediate neighbors, those who were not of their same ethnicity and culture, but also sharing the same land. Sometimes it would manifest itself by way of the Hebrews taking on some of the Canaanite culture and taking on some of the Canaanite gods and practices. And so while it doesn't receive stark treatment at this point, it's still a significant part of reading the rest of the Hebrew scriptures, the effect of these leftovers and the leftover culture and religion from the Canaanites who possessed the land before the Hebrews. So then in chapter number 18, we have the introduction to the place, Shiloh, The Shiloh, it comes from similar root to the word shalom, meaning peace in Hebrew. There is where the tabernacle dwelt. And so the tent that they constructed that had in it the sacred vessels and furniture, including the Ark of the Covenant representing the throne and the presence of God, that was going to dwell in Shiloh. This was before Jerusalem was ever really developed into any sort of capital or principal city, religiously or politically. And so, in telling of the Hebrew story, it's rather insignificant for Joshua. I mean, the development of Shiloh hosting the tabernacle is relatively insignificant. However, but when looking in the broader corpus of the Hebrew Scriptures, that information is very pertinent. It causes a lot of division later on in their history when the tabernacle is moved from Shiloh to Jerusalem. It divides the people, and some of them believed that Shiloh was the only credible place to hold the tabernacle, and that was where the later temple should be built. In fact, the Samaritans built their own temple there in the region of Shiloh as a counter temple to the one in Jerusalem. So while some of these themes are less developed in Joshua, still they're there for a pertinent historical record, because there's so much here as they are becoming, this is their foundation within their land of inheritance, the Canaan land. At their foundation here are these nuances that become a vibrant and critical part to their later story. So these last couple of readings, yesterday and today, have perhaps been a little bit less engaging, a bit repetitive with all of this land assignment. However, as we go into the final 6 chapters, the final 2 readings, there will the narratives will, I think, become a little more engaging as we come into the conclusion of Joshua. And if you have any questions or comments, anything you want me to address, please let me know. And over these last couple of videos, we'll try to make a synthesis of all this material. So today's video, a little bit shorter. Yesterday's was a little bit longer. Nevertheless, I'll find you again tomorrow. Thank you for joining in on this Lenten reading with me. Take care.